Sometimes I'll see online on different toy forums or Facebook pages where people say like, "Oh yeah, I had this toy line," or "I remember having that as a kid," and it's something weird and bizarre, and you think, "Really, that you had that? Like that was your thing as a kid?" But I kind of get it because I definitely had James Bond Jr. figures as a kid, and I remember watching the TV show. And while it definitely wasn't my number one or even my number five, or I doubt it even cracked the top 10. I definitely dug it. I mean, how could you not forget that theme song, the Bond, James Bond Jr. I distinctly remember having the James Bond Jr. scuba gear because I remember, this was 91. Is this 91? Yeah, 91. The kind of neon green that was like totally that time, the pink too. I remember they had like neon green, well, everything. But I remember having a Crayola marker set, and there's the standard 8 colors, and there was like a special one that came out that had 10, and there was a turquoise, like kind of a neon sort of turquoise, and like this pink. That was really cool. So for those who weren't around or kind of age in the early 90s, the neon pink and green and yellow and turquoise and orange, like that was huge. And you can see it pretty evidenced, like in Gordo Lighters, his shirts, neon green and orange, purple too. Things like that. So I definitely had him. I had Oddjob. And I don't remember if I had Jaws or not. But I definitely had some of these figures, and I definitely thought they were cool, and I still think they're cool. And this today is the James Bond Jr. Jaws with chomping, jaw-crushing action. This is a cool figure. He has a cool feature. Really cool sculpt. I like the card art. I got this at Bosco's for $1.99. I've never heard of Bosco's in my entire life. So these are made by Hasbro. And they're pretty cool. Very 90s again. The pink, orange, the yellow, these bright kind of neon colors. But he's kind of got this, a little bit of a classic look. He definitely looks more like a, Kenner figure. He could fit in with the Police Academy or the Cops line or whatever. But this is Jaws. And obviously some of them, there's Oddjob, Dr. No, Jaws, that was kind of a carryover from the actual James Bond, who, according to the show, that James Bond Jr. is actually James Bond that we know. It's his uncle. So James Bond Jr. is James Bond's nephew. So we're going to open this guy up. This is from 1991. This is 26 years old here. And I actually already have this figure loose, but I got this carded one for a pretty good price. And he's just been sitting in his plastic prison all this time. And he can't wait to just exact revenge on James Bond Jr. or whatever it is he does. I don't know. He probably just... I guess Jaws is probably more of an enforcer. One cool thing about these figures, and you've actually seen me open a few. You saw me open Buddy Mitchell. You've seen me open the flight gear and scuba gear as well. That was actually at my friend Chris's house with a parachute that didn't work too well. So this is like the 4th James Bond Jr. Vintage Toy Freedom episode, which is pretty amazing. Which obviously shows, one, you can get these guys for pretty cheap. People aren't really clamoring over this line, but I think it's cool. It's obviously collectible, it's kind of goofy. It's goofy and it's fun, and I definitely would like to get my hands on some of those vehicles. He's got a Ferrari down there. So anyway, there's Mr. Jaws. He kind of peeled right off the card, and so we can find out more about Jaws when we get the little decoder deal. Uh-oh, I ripped that, so he can't figure out how to do his thing. It's not exactly rocket science. Raise right arm, head will lift and lock into place to activate chomping action, depress tongue. And it's showing, you can see that, they're depressing the tongue with, I don't even know what that is. Like a letter opener or something, or like a turkey thermometer. I have no idea. Anyway, so let's kind of let him chill for a second. We got our little decoder here. Hasbro did a similar thing with Transformers. I don't really know of any other lines that did this. I think there was, I don't know. So there's Jaws. His weapon is an iron pipe. Can you see that? Does that show up good on the video? Not really. He's an amazing 7-foot, 4-inch tower of metal munching mayhem. Though not known for his speaking ability, Jaws does most of his talking with his stainless steel chompers. He fears neither man nor beast and never fails to carry out his orders to the letter. He's in the Swiss Alps, apparently. Scum has ordered Jaws to hijack a locomotive and send it straight into a Swiss nuclear power plant to annihilate Geneva and destroy its financial center. If this happens, a worldwide economic shutdown will take place, and Scum will then move its own people into key financial positions to control the world's money flow. Your mission is to intercept Jaws on the train and cut him off before he can do any real damage. Good luck, IQ. And SCUM stands for Saboteurs and Criminals United in Mayhem. So that's what we're going to do. That's what James Bond Jr. is going to do. So, so he's got that. And then, the idea is that he just kind of chomps. It obviously doesn't work great. But the idea here, as you can see kind of by the card art, is that he chomps this. It doesn't really seem like it should bend, but I guess it does. And I guess that part right there might be the part you really want to have him chomp on. It'd be nice if it fit in his hands. So, yeah, that hand doesn't have a thing to hold. See, you can't even, that's kind of lame. You can't have him do that because that hand doesn't have a hole. Also, his shoes here are black and they are white. They're kind of like Ronald McDonald, red, white, and yellow there. He's got some high waters on. He's getting ready for the flood. But let's see here. So we're going to lift his mouth up here. And then he, chomps down on it, which doesn't work too great. Yeah, I just think it works better. You do this, you press his head. Or his hand, whatever. Because to really kind of get in there and press it down doesn't work. But you get the idea that he's chomping. There's bite marks on here. I like the attention to detail. The bite marks, you see those on that metal bar. So yeah, so this is a cool guy. This is a good figure to have. Not a whole lot of articulation, but he looks good. He's got a cool feature. Zoom in right there. He likes to chew on metal, and he's going to steal a train and smash into Geneva. So we need James Bond Jr. to stop him. So thanks for watching. James Bond Jr. Jaws by Hasbro, 1991. Cool figure, cool line, lots of neon, lots going on here, and yeah. I don't know. I was trying to think of something cool to end this, but let's see. It says, whatever you do, don't blow your cover. Rah, rah.